Your options are determined by your skills.
It's
So
very true.
that's perhaps a good segue into digital real estate. I've also heard you refer to it as digital drug dealing. I love how unapologetic you are about like, look, the life that you want is on the other side of your ability to pay for it. So like, stop bitching, learn the skills, get more money, do what you want, do what you're called to do. Talk to me about that epiphany for you, that transition, that growth curve. I mean, you were $60,000 in debt, struggling in other things. Obviously, there was a time before you were where you are now and who you are now. So talk to me about before and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, so I tried, like many people, starting different businesses. I was smart enough to realize that online, it had to be online. The internet is what's the great equalizer. So I had to have something online because I wanted location freedom. But I tried a bunch of different stuff. I tried to start a software company. That went nowhere. I partnered with the wrong person. I actually I hired a developer from St. George. We'll talk about this off air, but this person never gave me a line of code, and I paid way more money than I care to admit. So and that wasn't the only reason. That would have failed regardless. I did all the things. I tried to do white labeled software and start an SEO company, and none of it checked the boxes that I needed. And so finally I'm like, what boxes do I need checked? Well, I want something that's recurring because I don't want to be paid once on it. I need something that is scalable. I need something that is low barrier to entry because I don't have a lot of money to work with. And I just had all these boxes that were checked. And then the big box was I wanted control and I wanted assets because I had an SEO company that it paid for my bills for a while. But I remember being in Disneyland and getting a phone call from my biggest client at the time, $4,000 a month. Hey, Nick, this is so-and-so. Yeah, we're done. And you're like, damn, dude, I don't know. You're like looking at your wife eating a $5 churro. You're like, maybe we shouldn't have come to Disneyland. And I'm like, this is pathetic, man. I say that I'm free and I'm my own boss, but I have 20 bosses now and I'm more stressed than ever and I'm working my ass. So I needed something that had complete control where if you called me and said you wanted to cancel, then I had the control. And on top of that, I had assets because with an SEO business where I'm taking your website, I'm ranking it to the top of Google. As soon as I do my job, if you decide to cancel, I have nothing to show for it. I've traded time for dollars and I'm no better than the guy that's freaking punching the clock at work.
You mentioned you went on a mission. Was that out of college, out of high school?
No, it was out of high school. I did that out of high school. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I did about four and a half years of door-to-door sales in there after the trip. So
screw university, 4.5 years of door-to-door sales. That's an education.
Yeah. The funny thing is for people that aren't in Utah, that's like kind of an interesting talking point for people that are in Utah, like, oh, you're one of those guys. So yeah, that was one of the most incredible experiences. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Mm-hmm. And I grew up on a farm, moving pipes, driving tractors, like working with my dad from the age of 12 till I was 18. That's hard. Knocking doors in a third world country, trying to sell a message is hard. Knocking doors in Arkansas and Alabama in the blistering sun on the 4th of July, I think that beats all of it. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically how the evolution happened. And the thing that is so interesting is when I see people that, they come into the same business that I'm in, they have all the same material because I give it to them. I'm like, do this. And it's like, well, it doesn't work for me. But when I've gotten so frustrated, but then I look at it and I go, the biggest issue I see is that people have never finished something hard, right? They've never done anything hard. And so in their entire life, when something got hard, they quit. And they told their mom or their dad a story and their mom or dad believed it and they coddled them and whatever. And then they did that with their spouse. And then it's just this habitual thing. And they come to me and they try to give me the story and they don't like the answer that I give them because I put it right back on them and say, look, you're telling me that this works for 500 other people that don't even speak English, people with speech impediment. We have a guy that's blind that's doing this, that's making money, and but it doesn't work for you. And I get so frustrated. They're like, and then the fireworks come. But I think it's because people don't know or haven't built that muscle of sticking to something and just finishing it. And until you build that muscle, you will continue to do that same pattern with everything in life.